backstory here. Christy Carlson Romano had Holly Madison, survivor of Hugh Hefner. She had her on her show, on the Vulnerable podcast. And this was, I guess, maybe 6 months before she had Corey Feldman on her podcast. And what's very interesting about this is I watched also her Holly interview after I watched the Corey Feldman one, because she said a few things that I was like, wait a minute. There's no way she's saying this and had Holly on her show. There's just no way that this could be said. And so let's go through this. First and foremost, let's hear what Corey Feldman has to say about Hugh Hefner.
I love your impression of Hef.
I never saw those pictures. Well, that's unfortunate, Corey.
Or is it that she didn't sleep with Hef? That's why she didn't get it?
No.
That's not how he was?
No, not at all.
Okay, good.
No, that's totally not true.
Dispelling the rumors.
Yeah, no, he wasn't like that at all.
Yeah, good.
It was more like...
I never thought of him like that. Now his son is kind of in charge of the...
Wait. Okay, so I don't know if anyone heard this here. Basically, what ends up happening here is that Christy hints at some of the allegations kind of that, have been up against Hugh Hefner. And Corey Feldman is quick to say, no, he's not like that. And then Christy's response to that is good, where just what's the word that she used?
Dispelling the rumors.
No, he wasn't like that at all.
Yeah, good.
It was more like...
I never thought of him like that. Now his son is kind of in charge of the...
I never thought of him like that. Right? I never thought of him like that. Christy, didn't you have Holly on the Vulnerable podcast? By the way, I have the clips of that too here, where you got to hear a little bit of what she said she went through when it came to Hugh Hefner. And some of it, the bits that I got to hear here, were very alarming. And you acted as if Holly didn't even exist in this podcast with Corey Feldman. It was as if Holly was honestly forgotten. And I wonder how hard you tried to get Holly on your podcast. I know that you put great effort into getting people onto your podcast, but what happens when they're no longer on your podcast, right? When they're already an uploaded video? Do you remember them? Do you still respect them? Do you still act the same way that you act on camera when you are interviewing them? Because why would you act as though that Corey Feldman can just disprove the allegations against Hugh Hefner when you had one of the survivors of his on your show? So let's watch this little bit here with Christy Carlson Romano and Holly.
I'm sure with that, there must come sort of a philosophy that sort of only exists within the house structure. And
yeah, I think that's why it was so easy for me to overlook red flags and bad behavior in the relationship, is because obviously,
which us survivors definitely know,
I knew getting into that situation that this is a really unique situation.
Right.
It's in so many ways that nothing's going to be as expected. But when I started encountering things that are very real red flags and like a
been there,
narcissistic, verbally, emotionally relationship, I would overlook those because I was just
Christy, like Devin Werkheiser. Are you listening to what Holly is saying here? She is on your platform, trusting you with some of her trauma here. And you are nodding along to this. But then fast forward with Corey Feldman, you're like, oh, I never thought he was like that anyways. And it's good to, get rid of those rumors. So you think what Holly was saying here was a rumor? How is it a rumor when you're here ing her? And throughout the entire podcast, by the way, here, you're praising her. I'm getting this performative feeling just because I'm starting to see this, and it's starting to really give me the, like I just don't like what I'm witnessing. You shouldn't act like this. And then when you have another guest on who happens to be an alleged predator, that you just switch off like that and then just say that you never thought Hugh Hefner was like that anyways. Why didn't you say that when you were talking to Holly? Because why? Because you know what to say, when to say it. And that's another thing we've learned in this industry is turning it on, turning it off, and people pleasing. And we want to break that cycle. And right here, it's very, very harmful, honestly. If I told you my truth and then you went on to another podcast and made it seem as if it was just a rumor, that's not going to make your guests who are feeling vulnerable on your podcast safe. And you have to remember how much it takes for a survivor to be vulnerable, period. Again, I never thought I could be vulnerable again after what I went through. On some days, I can't do it. It takes a lot. And so to have these people on your platform being vulnerable and then switch over like that, I mean, it's just not it. It's, again, just not it. But let's continue to hear what Holly says here.
So, you know, the situation was just so weird. Like, I'm dealing with someone so much older than me who's so much more famous and has so much more money. And then it's like this weird, like, thing where he has other girlfriends. So it's like you're dealing with all that.
Yeah. So, okay. I hear her pretty loud and clear here. I've been there many times in this industry. The situations are very bizarre and strange, and no one really teaches you how to navigate them, right? No one really teaches you how to navigate. And so here's Holly explaining that to CHRISTY. But yet when she's talking to Corey, it's as if she doesn't even really exist. So moving on, let's go into what else she has to say here.
I liked him and I felt like I knew him, and that was somebody that I had a lot of admiration for.
Okay.
But it's also, I mean, it wasn't something I genuinely liked, and that I was never into, like, or I was never comfortable with that.
Whoa. Okay, so right here, as a survivor, what I'm hearing here is that Holly experienced things that she did not like there. And the things that she didn't like there, I had to bleep out because they can't be on YouTube, okay? So to me, Holly is a survivor, right? Once again, on CHRISTY's platform, being vulnerable with her, telling her what she experienced, telling her that she had to do things that she did not like. But then when she's with Corey Feldman here, let's just rewind.
I love your impression of Hef.
I never saw those pictures. Well, that's unfortunate, Corey.
Or is it that she didn't sleep with Hef? That's why she didn't get it?
No.
That's not how he was?
No, not at all.
Okay, good.
No, that's totally not true.
Dispelling the rumors.
Yeah, no, he wasn't like that at all.
Yeah, good.
It was more like...
I never thought of him like that. Now his son is kind of in charge of...
Dispelling the rumors. So there we go. That was how maybe she really felt. I'm curious with CHRISTY, which way did you feel? Were you your more honest self when you were talking to Holly? Or were you your most honest self when you were talking to Corey? Because that's really the true question here. Because both are very different. And I can only hope that your true self was when you were listening to Holly and not when you were listening to Corey. And I don't appreciate that you acted as though you never heard these out. Like you didn't know that they were just rumors, that you didn't sit down with someone who told you to your face what happened to them, what they experienced, and just treated them as though they were just rumors. It's honestly, it's very sad, but it gets so much worse. When I reached out to CHRISTY, I thought the only other person who has ever reached out to her was the survivor's friend, okay? So I thought, I was literally that naive. I thought the first time that CHRISTY heard about these allegations was from the survivor's friend after she already had Corey on the podcast. So I was giving her the benefit of the doubt. I thought, okay, she doesn't know about these allegations. Then she heard it from the survivor's friend, then was left on red. That's a little bit weird. Okay, I'm going to reach out and see what this is about. Then I was also kind of left on red with nothing. So I kept thinking, wow, so the first time she hears about this, maybe she was so, I don't know, shocked by it that she just didn't know what to do with the information. I was just trying to think and give her the benefit of the doubt, but no. Thank you, Christy, for leaving the episode up. Because this morning I got to hear what really happened on this podcast. So let's listen.
And Twitter feels a little better since Elon took over. I'm not gonna lie.
Good.
Well, some of the
A little more
bots,
regulated?
some of the bots are not there as much.
Mm-hmm.
So
First of all, this is a side note. He literally just said that Twitter's better since Elon, which I have to just say right away, I totally disagree with you, dude. I totally disagree with you, but that's a whole other that's another time, another story there. But you're kind of like, wait, why is Corey so upset about the internet and upset about bots and what's going on here, right? Let's see where this goes.
he literally had, I mean, I've been under such brutal attacks. My Wikipedia page is all of it, every second of it. Like literally, if you go on that IMDb, or I'm sorry, the Wikipedia page,
He thought Wikipedia was IMDb.
first of all, it says I'm 5'5",
Mm-hmm.
and that is something that they've been pushing. That started with 5'3".
Okay, wait, why is the first... Okay, you guys know where he's going with this? He's literally about to go into... But he's starting with his height, and that Wikipedia has gotten his height wrong. So therefore, everything within Wikipedia is also false. So just starting it there, it's a little bit alarming, but let's go into it.
And then it was 5'5" because they realized they couldn't get away with it. But it's part of dominionizing me. They want to diminish my value, diminish my
Dominionizing.
worth. And so they objectify this idea that I'm this short little man,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they get away with it because unless you stand next,
That's not the that you should really be worrying about, bro, that's on the internet about you. That is really not a worry, is what your height is personally for me. But it seems like it's something that he is obviously very triggered by, and so I will respect that. But let's keep going. Where are you getting at, Corey?
me, you can believe it, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Haters,
the thing.
man.
Yeah, it's just evil. But
Evil haters.
But those aren't the worst of it. I don't care about that. What I
Yeah.
care about is the fact that, you know, when you try to look up my film, it will lead you to a link of BS stories of gaslighting.
So that's
Gaslighting. Okay, we're getting closer. So you can see he's inching. He's inching his way towards what he's wanting to communicate here. So he's starting at Wikipedia, 5'5", and then now he's going into the BS, and let's see where this is going.
but you don't
Trying
want
to
to engage
turn
with
it.
the internet too much because
Right.
it's not healthy for you.
Well, right, because
Okay.
then they start gaslighting. It causes PTSD and trauma. Do you know there is nothing more painful to a survivor of abuse than being called an abuser?
Oh, there it is. Wow, Christy. You know, I really gave you the benefit of the doubt, even before and after my tweet, when I had to call you out about leaving this survivor's friend on red and then leaving a friend of the show's message on red about something that is a pretty serious allegation, and there are multiple allegations. I still gave you the benefit of the doubt. I thought she didn't know when she did that interview with Corey. They probably didn't talk about it. Why would he talk about it? Why would she let him talk about it, right, without asking more information? And then you would think when the survivor's friend reaches out to you, right, that you would have known about it and now wanted to see the receipts for yourself, right? But no, you knew about it, didn't ask any questions, which honestly, you could be a better host. Honestly, in these interviews, I would have asked, what do you mean by that? What do you mean you have accusations of this? Can you say more? And I would want to know more before I make money off of the clicks from this person's interview. Right? So let's keep hearing what what Corey has to say.
I understand.
There is nothing more insulting and painful.
And I think people know that are predatory.
Yeah,
And I think
Whoa. Christy, did you just call the survivors predatory? Whoo, man. No, you did not. That was not your response. Your initial response was to say that the survivors were predatory, that they were preying on Corey. And let me guess, a conspiracy around Corey, trying to discredit him so much as a survivor that what? There are allegedly multiple police reports in regards to him online, alleged tweets, minor, etc. It would have taken one Google search, honestly, after this interview, before you published it, to make the right decision there. But no, your first response was that the survivors were predatory. And it really upsets me because I spent 2 hours of my day sitting down with you explaining a lot. You've seen a lot of my content, and yet I feel like I just wasn't heard at all. I feel like once again, survivors are just forgotten and deleted, erased once again. So let's continue because it gets worse. We get into Army Hammer soon too.
Right, of course.
I think it's gaslighting.
Of course.
Gaslighting.
It is,
Oh, wait. Whoa. So now the survivors are gaslighting the alleged predator. Now I'm kind of wondering why you deleted this. Did you delete it because you were getting called out for having an alleged predator on your platform? Or did you delete it because of what you guys were talking about in the podcast?
They do, right? Mm-hmm. They want to turn the attention off of themselves and try and make it look like they're the victim. I mean, if you look at any major celebrity that's, getting called out or accused of doing something wrong, first thing they do is turn it around and say, oh, well, that person's a crazy fan. I don't even know them, and disregard them,
Army Hammer comes to mind. Army Hammer's
Whoa. So now Army Hammer comes to mind. Where could this possibly go? It's worse than your wildest imaginations, honestly. So let's hear what the final answer is.
So I don't know.
Well,
but
he at least came clean. Did you hear his new interview? I mean, he actually came clean.
He was very apologetic.
Okay, I went psycho. I lost it. I'm back. That was cool.
You gotta take accountability.
Yeah, and if you're willing, even if you're eating ribs, everybody deserves a second barbecue.
Nice, man. You're too nice.
I mean, a second chance.
I feel that. Well, no,
I don't know that he deserves a second chance. I'm not saying that on the record. I'm just being nice about the fact that he did apologize, and I give him credit for that.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Hold on. What Army Hammer allegedly did to his victims. I don't know if anyone out there has read these allegations or seen the messages that Army Hammer has sent to his victims. They are one of the most triggering pieces of evidence I have ever seen in my entire life. And here it is that he just apologized and everything's okay. He's back. And let's just kind of roll over the fact that he has allegedly done such horrific, harmful, criminal things. Allegedly. But she's here with her good old friend, Corey FELDMAN. And I don't know if you heard what he said right here, but it's pretty bad. Listen really closely.
I'm back. That was cool.
You gotta take accountability.
Yeah,
I guess,
and if you're
at the very
willing,
least.
even if you're eating ribs off of a human,
even if you are, you hear that? Even if that, at least you kind of sort of said sorry, even though that survivor is dealing with lifelong trauma. lifelong PTSD, Corey Feldman's honestly already giving me a red flag here. He's already giving me a red flag that it was so easy for him to just be like, what? Well, he sort of apologized and he's back, and I think that's great. Even if he was blank, 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 blank. And CHRISTY, where are you? Because up until this morning, his podcast episode was still on Spotify. But mine wasn't. I was totally erased. Those 2 hours that I gave you of my time, totally erased. And I find it really offensive because in my tweets, I asked you to give a percentage of my video to PAVE, a survivor organization. That's all I asked. Not for my trauma to be deleted. I didn't deserve to be punished for speaking up. I don't. And that's what happens. This is what happens when good people are in the industry. This happens all the time. When someone tries to stand up for the survivor, guess what? They get fired. They get punished too. And honestly, that was the power flex that I believe CHRISTY CARLSON Romano flexed. And probably because she learned it from the industry, since we grew up in the industry. And this is why it's important to be cycle breakers and not continue this cycle, because it's awful. And I don't even truly believe that's who she is inside. It's learned behavior. We weren't taught to take accountability of our actions in this industry. We were told to be perfect. We never have emotions. We never cry. We never cuss. We never have blank, 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 blank. And that's how we were groomed to be in this industry. And it's sad. I feel sad for her. I do. Because I know it's learned behavior. And I know the pressures that we experienced when we were younger. I know it. I totally know it. But at the same time, it's time to break the cycle. And so, obviously, if she's not going to apologize to me, I would really appreciate it if she at least apologized to the survivor's friend, who was so brave. And she sent me the message she sent to CHRISTY CARLSON Romano. Hey, CHRISTY, I've been thinking about reaching out to you for a couple of months now. I finally have worked through my feelings around this issue and have taken the step to try and make contact. You had Corey Feldman on your podcast, and he has hurt multiple women that I know. He is an R. I wish it wasn't true. I deeply admired him throughout my life, but it is. And I have a plethora of receipts and information. I admire what you, Allison, and Alexa are doing, and was completely gutted when I saw he was on Vulnerable, because he is not someone you want to be associated with. By the way, I am friends with blank. I have worked in the industry for the past decade, and the victims of Corey are women who also work in the entertainment industry, but are not famous. I hope that this coalition you are building is for all performers and not just the famous ones. Then I guess time went on and no response. And so she sent another message to CHRISTY. She said, I don't want to make assumptions of your character based on this situation. But from my perspective, it looks like your allegiance to a fellow child actor is alarmingly strong. So strong, in fact, that you would be willing to look the other way when presented with valid claims. When this makes the news, you don't get to make a video acting surprised, CHRISTY. You had a lifelong fan that came to you in good conscience and you made a convenient decision for you to just ignore while that interview continues to get clicks.